When a man chases, he believes he's showing effort, proving himself, and demonstrating his interest. But what he doesn't realize is that in reality, he's sending a completely different message. Chasing doesn't come across as strength. It screams desperation. It tells a woman that she is above you, that her attention and validation are more important than your self-worth. And once you place her on that pedestal, she no longer has to earn your presence. She doesn't need to give back because you've already shown her that you all the work for her. This is where so many men go wrong. They mistake movement for progress. They think that constantly texting, calling, planning, and showing up will somehow win her over. But love and attraction don't work like that. The harder you chase, the more she pulls away, not because she's cruel, because chasing creates imbalance. Relationships thrive on mutual effort, not one person doing all the giving while the other does all the taking. When you chase, you make yourself too predictable. She knows you'll always reach out, always wait for her, always be there no matter how little she gives in return. There's no excitement in that. There's no mystery. And without mystery, there's no desire. The sad reality is this: the more available you are, the less valuable you become in her eyes. She doesn't feel the need to invest in you because she's never had to fight for you or fear losing you. True masculine energy doesn't operate from a place of neediness. It operates from a place of certainty. A man who knows his worth doesn't run after anyone. He understands that his time, his energy, and his attention are gifts. And he doesn't hand those gifts to someone who isn't equally investing in him. Chasing is like pouring water into a broken cup. No matter how much you give, it will never feel like enough because the foundation is flawed. She hasn't chosen you freely. She's simply accepting what you offer without having to give anything back. Here's the irony. When you stop chasing, you actually become more attractive. Why? Because you shift the dynamic. When you don't rush to fill every silence, when you're not constantly trying to win her over, you give her space to feel your absence. And in that space, she begins to wonder about you. She begins to question what you're doing, who you're with, why you're not constantly at her feet anymore. That's when intrigue grows. That's when respect begins to form. Men who chase often do it because they fear losing her. They think that by staying close, by constantly proving themselves, they can somehow control the outcome. But here's the truth. You never truly have someone if you had to beg for them to stay. The moment you have to chase is the moment you've already lost. The only relationships that last are the ones built on mutual choice, mutual effort, mutual respect. So instead of running after her, focus on yourself. Build your life, your purpose, your confidence. Become so centered in who you are that you don't need anyone to validate you. When you do that, you naturally attract the right people, the ones who see your value and meet you halfway without you having to chase. A man who chases gives away his power. A man who knows his worth never runs after anyone. He doesn't need to convince, beg, or plead. If his presence isn't appreciated, he simply walks away. Because a true masculine man doesn't chase, he disappears. One of the biggest mistakes men make when dealing with women is giving themselves away too easily. They show up with their time, their attention, their energy, and sometimes even their resources without ever requiring the woman to truly earn it. At first, it feels like generosity. It feels like love. It feels like you're doing the right thing by giving freely. But here's the truth most men don't want to face. When you give without boundaries, without requiring any effort on her part, you don't inspire love or respect. You inspire entitlement. A woman cannot value what she did not have to work for. Think about it like this. When you achieve something you've struggled for, something you've invested time and effort into, you protect it, you appreciate it, you hold it close. But when something is handed to you without effort, it doesn't carry the same weight. It's just human nature. The same rule applies in relationships. When a man chases a woman and gives her everything before she's invested anything, he robs her of the chance to develop real feelings. She might enjoy the attention. She might even keep you around for the benefits. But deep down, she doesn't truly value you because she never had to fight for you. Masculine men understand this dynamic. They don't chase because they know attraction is built on reciprocity. It's a dance, give and take, back and forth. When one person is doing all the giving and the other person is simply receiving, the balance is lost. And when that balance is lost, the relationship collapses. Here's what happens when you give too much too soon. At first, she feels flattered. She enjoys the extra attention and the constant effort. But over time, she begins to expect it. It becomes normal to her. The flowers, the good morning texts, the favors, the sacrifices, they stop feeling special and start feeling routine. And the more you give, the less she appreciates it. That's when you start hearing lines like, "I didn't ask you to do that," or "Why are you making such a big deal out of this?" She begins to minimize your effort because to her, it no longer holds any value. This is why disappearing is so powerful. When you step back and stop handing her your presence on a silver platter, you force her to experience the absence of what you were freely giving before. Suddenly, those texts she once ignored feel important. That time she took for granted starts to matter. Your energy, which she once assumed would always be there, now has weight. By disappearing, you allow her to feel the cost of losing you, something she could never feel while you were constantly chasing. Men who chase think they are proving their love. But the truth is, love doesn't grow when one person is doing all the work. It grows when both people are invested, when both people are giving, and when both people have something to lose. When a woman has to meet you halfway, when she has to invest in you emotionally and mentally, her feelings for you deepen. That investment creates attachment, and that attachment creates desire. The hard reality is this: if she didn't have to earn you, she won't fight to keep you. The more you give without boundaries, the less she will value what you bring. Stop pouring into someone who hasn't proven they deserve it. The right woman will meet you with equal effort. And when that happens, you'll never have to chase, because real desire always flows both ways. A woman only values what she has to work for, and if she doesn't have to earn you, she'll never truly respect you. The reason most men end up chasing is because they mistake attraction for attachment. They meet a woman, they feel a spark, and instantly they lock in emotionally as if she's already theirs. Suddenly, every thought, every plan, every move revolves around her. They want to see her, they want to talk to her, they want to prove themselves to her. And without even realizing it, they hand over their power. That spark they felt. It wasn't real attachment, it was just initial attraction. But because they confused the two, they start acting like she's the only woman in the world, while to her, he's just another guy she's getting to know. This is where so many men get hurt. They build castles in their minds before they've even laid the foundation in reality. They imagine a future with her before she's ever invested in the present. And as a result, they start giving too much too soon. They become overly available, overly accommodating, overly eager. What they don't realize is that this energy actually pushes her away. Why? Because when you move faster emotionally than she does, she feels pressure. She feels like you're trying to claim her before she's ready to choose you. And that pressure kills attraction. Masculine men don't operate like that. They don't mistake a fleeting moment of connection for a lifelong bond. They understand that attraction takes time to build, and that a woman's words mean far less than her consistent actions. A woman can say she likes you, but if her actions don't match her words, a masculine man won't chase. He won't sit around trying to convince her to choose him. Instead, he'll step back, observe, and allow her to show him where she truly stands. Here's the reality most men don't want to face. When a woman is genuinely interested, you won't have to guess. You won't have to chase. You won't have to constantly wonder if she's into you or not. She will make it clear through her effort, her attention, and her consistency. When a woman's interest is real, she moves toward you. She texts you first. She makes time for you. She invests in you emotionally. But when her interest is low, you'll feel it. She'll be distant, vague, and non-committal. And if you keep pushing forward while she's pulling back, you'll end up looking desperate, and desperation kills desire every single time. Disappearing isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate her feelings. It's about protecting your dignity and your emotional well-being. It's about refusing to invest in someone who hasn't shown they're equally invested in you. When you step back, you give her the space to reveal her true intentions. If she's genuinely interested, she'll move closer. If she's not, she'll fade away. And that's your answer right there. The beauty of this approach is that it keeps you in control of yourself. Instead of clinging to a fantasy of who you hope she is, you stay grounded in reality. You're not acting out of fear of losing her. You're observing her actions and letting those actions guide your decisions. This mindset shift changes everything. It keeps you from wasting time on women who aren't serious about you and allows you to focus your energy on someone who actually sees your value. The truth is, you never lose the right woman by refusing to chase. You only lose the wrong ones, the ones who were never truly yours to begin with. When a woman shows you through her actions that she's not invested, don't argue, don't beg, and don't chase. Step back, let her reveal herself, and trust what you see. A man who values himself doesn't force anyone to stay. He simply watches, and if she drifts away, he lets her go. One of the most powerful truths a man can ever embrace is understanding the difference between chasing and attracting. Chasing comes from fear, while attracting comes from strength. When you chase, you're essentially saying, I don't believe I'm enough as I am, so I need to convince you to choose me. That energy immediately puts you beneath her in the dynamic. It tells her, without words, that she has the power, and you're just hoping she'll grant you some of it. And once she senses that imbalance, she will either take advantage of it or lose respect for you entirely. But when you shift your focus from chasing to building yourself, everything changes. Instead of pouring all your time and energy into trying to win someone over, you pour it into your own growth, your own goals, your own purpose. This is the essence of masculine energy. A man who is deeply connected to his mission doesn't have to run after anyone, because his life already speaks for itself. His confidence doesn't come from who validates him. It comes from who he has become. You see, women are naturally drawn to strength, not just physical strength, but inner strength. A man who is grounded, who has direction, who knows who he is and where he's going, creates a gravitational pull. He doesn't need to convince anyone of his value, because his value is self-evident. That's the power of attraction. You don't have to push or beg or chase. You simply exist in your full masculine presence, and the right people are drawn to you. When a man is too focused on a woman, he loses this balance. His world starts revolving around her, and in the process, he neglects himself. His hobbies, his friendships, his health, his ambitions, they all take a back seat to his pursuit of her. At first, she might enjoy the attention, but over time, she begins to sense that his energy has shifted. Instead of being a man with a full, vibrant life, he becomes a man whose entire identity depends on her. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who loses himself in the process of trying to win someone else. This is why disappearing is so powerful. When you step back, you're not just pulling away from her, you're pulling back into yourself. You're reclaiming your focus, your priorities, your purpose. You're reminding yourself that your life has value beyond who you're dating or trying to date. This doesn't just make you stronger as a man, it also makes you more attractive. Because now, when she looks at you, she sees someone who doesn't need her to feel complete. She sees a man who chooses her, not a man who clings to her. And that distinction changes everything. The truth is, women respect what they have to earn. When you stand firm in your value and refuse to overextend yourself, you naturally filter out those who aren't truly interested. The ones who genuinely appreciate you will step up and match your energy. The ones who don't will fall away, and that's exactly what you want. You're not here to collect attention. You're here to build a real mutual connection. At the core of this is a simple principle. You cannot attract from a place of neediness. You attract by being whole within yourself. The more you chase, the more you communicate lack. The more you focus on your own growth, the more you communicate abundance. And abundance is irresistible. Stop trying to convince anyone to stay. Live your life so fully and with such purpose that the right people are naturally drawn to you. Because a man who is truly in his masculine doesn't chase love. He creates a life so magnetic that love finds him. Most men think walking away is about teaching her a lesson. But that's the wrong mindset entirely. When you walk away, it's not about punishing her or playing games. It's about protecting your own dignity and preserving your self-respect. The moment you stay in a situation where you're being devalued, you're telling her, and more importantly, you're telling yourself that your worth is negotiable. And the truth is, it's not. Staying and tolerating bad behavior doesn't earn you love or loyalty. It only earns you more disrespect. People don't value what they can mistreat without consequence. This is why disappearing is such a powerful move. It's not about being cold or heartless. It's about setting the ultimate boundary. It's you saying, I will not be a part of something that diminishes me. When you disappear, you remove yourself completely from the situation. No arguments. No begging, no long explanations, just silence. Because silence is louder than any speech you could ever give. Silence says, I've seen enough. Silence says, I refuse to keep pouring into someone who doesn't pour back into me. And here's the beauty of it. When you walk away quietly, you force her to confront the reality of your absence. She can no longer take your presence for granted because it's no longer there. A man who truly values himself doesn't stick around hoping things will change. He doesn't wait for someone to suddenly realize his worth after repeatedly showing they don't see it. He understands that staying and fighting for someone who isn't fighting for him is a losing battle. If she doesn't recognize your value now, constant effort on your part won't magically make her see it. In fact, the more you try to convince her, the less she'll respect you. Walking away also creates space for clarity, both for her and for you. For her, it forces a moment of reflection. Without you constantly reaching out, constantly chasing, constantly making things easy for her, she has to sit with her own feelings and decide what you truly mean to her. Some women will realize what they've lost and step up. Others will let you go and never look back. Either way, you get your answer without wasting another ounce of your energy. For you, walking away allows you to regain your perspective when you're in the middle of chasing someone who isn't giving you what you deserve. It's easy to lose sight of yourself. You start to believe that if you just do a little more, give a little more, wait a little longer, things will finally work out. But the truth is, love that has to be forced isn't love at all. Stepping away helps you see the situation clearly. It helps you remember who you are and what you bring to the table. The hardest part about walking away is the silence that comes after. Your ego will want to check in, to reach out, to see if she noticed your absence. But that's where real strength comes in. Real strength is resisting the urge. Real strength is trusting that what's meant for you will never require you to chase it down. The most powerful thing you can do when you feel undervalued is to stop explaining, stop negotiating, and simply remove yourself. Because at the end of the day, you don't convince someone to respect you. You show them what losing you looks like. A man who knows his worth doesn't fight to be seen. He walks away and lets his absence speak for itself. The greatest misunderstanding men have about disappearing is that they think it's about control, like some strategy to manipulate her feelings or force her to miss you. That's not what true masculine disappearance is about. It's not a trick or a tactic. It's a mindset. It's a way of living where you place your peace, your purpose, and your self-respect above any relationship or situation. It's not about her at all. It's about you. When a man disappears, he's not sitting around hoping she'll chase him back. He's not obsessing over what she's thinking, what she's feeling, or whether she'll realize what she lost. That's still a form of chasing, even if it's done in silence. True disappearance is different. It's when you emotionally detach and fully redirect your focus toward yourself and your mission. It's when you let go of the outcome entirely and stop needing her validation to feel complete. This is where most men struggle. They'll pull back physically, but mentally they're still consumed by her. They might stop texting, stop calling, stop showing up. But inside, they're constantly checking her social media, constantly wondering if she's moved on, constantly waiting for her to notice their absence. That's not real strength. That's just quiet desperation. Real strength is when you disappear and genuinely move on. It's when you stop caring about what she's doing because you're too busy building your own life. You're too focused on your growth, your goals, and your happiness to sit around analyzing her every move. And when you reach this place, something incredible happens. You regain all the power you gave away by chasing. Here's why this matters so much. A woman can sense when a man's energy is centered on her. Even if you're not saying a word, she can feel when your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions all revolve around her. That energy makes her feel like she's the prize, and it pushes her away. But when you're deeply focused on yourself and your mission, she can feel that too. She feels that you're no longer orbiting her world. And that's when the dynamic shifts completely. Sometimes, when you truly disappear, she will come back. She'll feel the loss of your presence. She'll miss the attention you once gave, and she'll reach out. But here's the key. Whether she comes back or not no longer matters to you, because disappearing isn't about making her miss you. It's about breaking free from the cycle of needing her to validate you. It's about becoming so grounded in who you are that you don't chase anyone, not even in your mind. The irony is, this is the very thing that makes a man magnetic. Women are drawn to men who don't need them to survive emotionally. They are intrigued by men who live full, purposeful lives with or without them. When you genuinely embody this energy, you don't have to play games. You don't have to pretend. Your detachment is real and people can feel that authenticity. Masculine men don't disappear to get a reaction. They disappear to get back to themselves. They disappear because they refuse to stay in spaces where they're not valued and they know their worth isn't up for negotiation. When you master this, you stop being a man who waits and hopes. You become a man who moves forward boldly, with or without her. And that is the ultimate form of power, because the man who disappears for himself never needs to return.